Hello and welcome to the OK Preps Extra Show. I'm Patrick Prince, joined as always by Barry Lewis. Barry, always good to be with you talking a little sports. You know, this is my favorite part of the week, talking to you, picking your brain about stuff. I know I've told you that before. Sometimes I just feel the need to remind you. But before we get into it, a little bit of personal news. Are you ready?
All right.
My nephew Mason, who you know, he and his wife Katie just had their first baby a couple days ago. They
Wow.
are new parents. Prescott Sophia Prince was born at an eight pounds even. Baby doing well. Mom and dad are doing well too. So, a little personal news to start out.
Congratulations. All right.
Yeah, they're. Of course, my first question to him was, at what age does she have to be before we bring her to the golf course? That was my first question. Um, No answer to that question as of yet. So, all right, let's get into sports. So, Kevin Pritchard, a name very familiar to old people like us, Barry's back in the news a little bit. He's the president of basketball operations for the Pacers. They obviously play the Oklahoma City Thunder in the finals. Game one is tonight. Again, you and I are old enough to remember when Kevin Pritchard was a star player around here at Edison. What are some of your memories of him?
Um, Obviously, for someone who winds up playing in the NBA and has this, and is one of the University of Kansas all-time leading scorers, obviously he could shoot, and he could do probably just about most anything on the court that you'd want a 6'3" guard do. But the thing that stands out most to me, and what I'll be leading off in my story that's going to be in Friday's print editions of the Tulsa World, is just his knowledge of the game, his knowledge, not just basketball court knowledge, but what really impressed me back in 1986 was his knowledge of the other players in the area. He could analyze them so well. I've never had a player do that or share that type of insight with me. And so even 40 years ago, I thought, hey, this, if you wanted to do it, there's someone who could be a coach someday, is, or maybe even an NBA general manager. And here he is.
He's had a long career.
Yes, he's been basically the general manager of the Pacers for 13 years. And before that, he was general manager of Portland. And so, yeah, when he was named GM of Portland, he was the youngest GM at the time in the NBA. And so he's had quite a long run as a general manager in the NBA.
And my memory hasn't failed me. He was on the 88 Danny Manning Kansas team that won the national title, right?
Yes, he was. And now he's
Yeah.
looking to break the hearts of Oklahomans again.
That's right. That's right. Well, since you kind of brought it up, give me your 10-second prediction.
Thunder in seven, I think it'll be more competitive series than a lot of people are projecting.
Why do you say that?
Just because I'm really impressed by Indiana. Just what I saw from them, seen from them throughout the playoffs. They've been really good. Got a little lucky in game one against the Knicks. And sometimes that sort of scares you too when you feel like, oh, is this team destined to win the championship when you get shots like what they had to end at the end of regulation in game one against the Knicks? Like, wow. So I'm just really impressed by Indiana.
All right, let's talk a little high school football. One of our spring football stories that Bill Haston wrote recently was on Broken Arrow and kind of their new direction under a new coach, Travis Hill. Barry, we've all kind of wondered through the years why Broken Arrow hasn't been more consistently better. They had the magical year in 2018 under David Alexander where they won a state title. You know, you can't do any better than that, state title undefeated. But through the years, I think we've all kind of wondered why have they been a little better, competed a little more. I think with Travis Hill, this could be the line of demarcation where it's like this is where BA turned it around. What do you think?
Yes, everything, when you look at Travis Hill's track record, everything would indicate that they are going to turn it around when you see what he's done at East Central, what he did at Muskogee, what he did as defensive coordinator at Broken Arrow when they won the championship in 2018. So everything would indicate that this is going to be the coach that's going to turn it around. I mean, after all, Broken Arrow has all the resources, great facilities, and they've got the largest enrollment in the state by far. So there's no reason why this shouldn't be a great football program contending for state titles year after year.
How good are they going to be this year?
Great question. Even Travis Hill, as he indicated, he doesn't know whether that's going to be, they're going to be better. I think they're going to be better anyway, but how much of an improvement? I wouldn't put a cap on that improvement because in Muskogee, when Muskogee got good, they zoomed up real quick, drastic improvement. So they may be a team that goes after going 4-7 this past year. They may be a team that can be as good as a 9 or 10 win team and make a deep run in the playoffs. Which, when I say deep run, that would be at least get to the semifinals. Um, I think they definitely have that capability. I think they had uh, good enough talent to do that. And now it's just all getting, of course, there's a lot of things to work out. You're as a first year coach. But if anyone could do it, I think Travis Hill can lead the Tigers to do that.
Yeah, yeah, totally with you on that. All right, Barry, tell us who Richard Slicker is. Enlighten us.
He is a member of the 2025 class of the Tulsa Public Schools Athletics Hall of Fame, which was having their annual induction ceremony on this Thursday when we're taping. So a lot of people may not be aware of who he is, but in 1965, he had one of the best seasons ever by a large high school baseball pitcher in the state. It was so good that among those he beat out for State Player of the Year was Johnny Bench, the baseball legend, who was apparently quite a pitcher himself. I never saw him pitch, but besides being like the best catcher of all time, he was quite a pitcher for Binger. So, and he had a really good year, but Richard Slicker was regarded as having a better year for Edison as he led the Eagles to the state championship game. His stats that year were just incredible. And he wound up being drafted by the Chicago White Sox, but speaking of Kevin Pritchard and KU, Richard Slicker wound up going to KU instead. So that's who I'm going to be writing about, among others, in my Tulsa Public Schools Athletics Hall of Fame story that you can see in Friday's Tulsa World.
But there's some other notable people going in, right?
Yes, the class has a couple of players who played, a couple of athletes who played in the NFL. Willie Ponder, current Jenks assistant, and Daryl Wren, who played for Rogers, was a starter for the Patriots in the early 90s, defensive back. So Willie Ponder, going back to him, he led the NFL in kickoff returns one year. So kickoff return average. So it's
I
quite,
didn't, I didn't know that.
yeah. And of course, people who saw him at Central knew he was a pretty good kick returner. That was a springboard for him seeing some time in the NFL.
How about that? I know you're not going to say this, so I am. The Tulsa Public Schools also has another notable member. That would be one Barry Lewis.
Yes, I was blessed to be inducted 2 years ago, and it's just that was a wonderful night, wonderful experience, and I was very honored and humbled.
You're not really an emotional guy. Did that mean a lot to you?
It did. I think
Yeah.
it did mean a lot, especially for someone who wasn't very athletic, or at least not good enough to play varsity sports at Edison. So it was a really nice honor.
Yeah, that was cool. I'm glad I was there to help celebrate you. Certainly well earned. That's cool. What else is on your mind? Should we remind the folks about All World Awards? We're what, 2 weeks out?
2 weeks from today, from when we're taping, Thursday, June 19th at One Oak Field, 5 p.m. Is when the ceremony starts before the Drillers game that night, which is at 7. So if you go, you can purchase your tickets at allworldawards.com. And besides getting the normal, I shouldn't say normal, besides getting the All World Awards ceremony where all the winners are announced from all as we celebrate the best of high school sports in the area and announce the winners of all the athletes of the year in each individual sport plus specialty awards. So not only do you get those announcements, but as usual, you would get a dinner to go with it. And as an added bonus this year, you're going to get the baseball game as the drillers play after our ceremony. So it's going to be a fun, very great night at One Oak Field on Thursday, June 19th.
Yeah, of course, we very much appreciate Bill Knight Automotive and all his support through the years. Doing it, as you just pointed out, doing it a little differently this year. It's going to be a fun night. All right, we'll leave it there for this week. I'm Patrick Prince. He's Barry Lewis. Appreciate you watching. We'll see you next week.